Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
It's been 1 year since a 16-year-old boy was killed in a violent crash. The driver, believed to be responsible, is still on the loose. A group of Roscoe residents announced plans to run for office. They're running as a slate for Roscoe Village president and trustee. And a ballot question in the upcoming election could change the rights of workers. It's all focused on unions in the state of Illinois. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy. Eric Wilson is off tonight. 1 year ago, a Rockford teen was killed in a car crash. It happened just 1 day before he was expected to start for his varsity football team. Nikel Delgado talked with a family friend today. And Nikel, how are they doing?
Mimi, Mason Hayda would have just turned 17 years old last month, and Thursday he would have started his senior year at East High School. 1 year later, his friends and family still can't believe he's gone.
In the blink of an eye, they were expecting him home in a couple of minutes. He was only a couple blocks from home.
Mason Hayda was on his way home from football practice when the unexpected happened. He died after another car crashed into him on Broadway. Family friend Gretchen Beeman says it has been hard on everyone 1 year later, and they're still trying to take it day by day.
Then when it's Christmas, when it's Easter, it's their birthday, you know, the anniversary of their death. It's those things that just digs more at your heart, that it's just a reminder of them not being there.
Court documents show the other driver was going 92 miles an hour on Broadway when he smashed into the teen near 24th Street. The posted speed limit is just 35. Gretchen tells me she's seen significant changes in the way people drive on that stretch.
I drive down Broadway every day, multiple times a day, and when people see those, all of their brakes are on and they're continuing the speed limit after they pass through that. So that alone is making a huge difference.
Gretchen says it's not fair that the man who hit Mason was able to leave the hospital. The Hayda family is still looking for justice for Mason's death, and they don't want anyone to forget how loving, selfless, giving, and talented he was.
If there's one lesson to be learned, I think, through all of this, is to tell the people in your life more how much they mean to you, and not just, oh, I love you, but really tell them why they're important to you, because you just don't know how quickly that life can be taken from you.
The man who hit Hayda, Derry Steele, is charged with reckless homicide. He is not in custody. There is a warrant still out for his arrest. If you have any information on where Steele is, call Rockford Police Department or leave a message on the Tip 411 app. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Nikel. A Rockford man is sentenced after he admits to sexually assaulting a child. Pierre Hayes will spend the next 6 years behind bars. He pled guilty to aggravated criminal sexual abuse. The attack happened back in January 2020. His victim was under the age of 9. Investigators say Hayes was in a relationship with the victim's mom. Hayes was arrested and charged about a month later. He was already in the Winnebago County Jail on unrelated charges. A group of Roscoe residents are teaming up to run for office. Current village trustee Carol Gustafson is running for village president. She's leading a slate of potential village trustees in the primary next year. Joining her on the slate, Michael Wright, Michael Sema, and William Babcock. All four have common goals and ideas for Roscoe.
It was very, very frustrating to see colleagues here just simply not listen to residents, not engage in conversation, not listen to the reasoned debates, and just simply not even express why they voted the way they voted. There's no understanding.
The consolidated primary election for Roscoe is February 28th, and the consolidated general election is April 4th. Republican candidate for Lieutenant Governor Stephanie Trussell spoke in Chicago about rising crime rates in the state. Eyewitness News is keeping you connected to the Capitol. Republicans, including Trussell's running mate Darren Bailey, is counting on crime driving a strong turnout for Republicans during this year's election. While in Chicago, Trussell called the conditions in the city hellish during the state fair. Bailey referred to the city as a hellhole multiple times.
Well, I agree that Chicago has some issues. We're suffering. The conditions are hellish.
Governor Pritzker chose today to announce more investments in anti-violence measures. The money is sent to communities around Illinois that deal with large amounts of violence. A ballot question in the November election could change the debate around unions in Illinois for years. The Workers' Rights Amendment would make it a constitutional right in Illinois to collectively bargain or join a union. It would also stop any laws from being able to change or restrict the process of joining a union. A court battle over the amendment threatened to keep it off the 2022 ballot, but the judge settled that court case last week, paving the way for the vote in November. One of the largest union organizations in the state says this is about protecting what unions already have and not necessarily adding more rights.
The stronger collective bargaining avenues are to workers. It lifts up all communities. It lifts up wages. It lifts up because it has an effect of spreading to the non-union workers as well.
It shuts the door to the notion that individual workers should be able to decide for themselves whether to join a union or not. This closes the door to that.
This amendment would also stop Illinois from enacting right-to-work laws. These are laws that allow workers to benefit from union negotiations despite not paying any sort of union dues. Currently, 28 states have right-to-work laws. Water main repairs shut down a Freeport intersection. Crews started work this morning at Park Boulevard and Laurel Street. A new water main is being installed. No traffic is being allowed through the intersection. Drivers are being asked to avoid the area. Work should be done by Thursday. And speaking of construction, road work in New Milford will shut down lanes to a busy road. This is part of the Rebuild Illinois Capital program. Starting a week from today, crews will remove and replace sidewalk ramps. This is happening on 251, just north of the Kishwaukee River. New Milford School Road, New Milford Church Road, and Tom's Road intersections will all be impacted. One lane of traffic in each direction of 251 will remain open. Traffic delays are expected. Construction is set to end in October. Student loan forgiveness is stirring up intense debate. Critics say the Biden administration isn't allowed to do what they're promising and have threatened lawsuits. Hannah Brandt is in Washington with a look at the legal controversy surrounding the issue.
The president's major announcement about student loan forgiveness came with a lot of questions, including whether the plan is even legal.
Congress gave the Secretary of Education and the HEROES Act the authority to do this.
The Biden administration says that 2003 law gave the secretary the power to cancel student debt during a national emergency. And they argue the pandemic is just that. But still, they expect legal challenges.
It's going to be up to the courts to decide whether those are valid claims or not, but we believe that we're on very strong legal ground.
Those legal threats have some concerns the debt relief could be delayed by lawsuits.
I just don't think it's likely to happen.
Alan Morrison with George Washington Law School says there are legitimate questions about whether the Biden administration has the authority to do this. But he says practically,
the real question is whether anybody can go to court and challenge it.
And he says past precedent makes it unlikely that anyone would have the required legal standing.
And the Supreme Court has traditionally been very willing to say, no, it's one of those things that you have to work out in the political arena.
Beyond that, he argues once the loans are forgiven, most courts would be hesitant to undo it.
I wouldn't be too worried about you losing that once you get that piece of paper in your hand.
So his advice to borrowers who qualify for the relief?
I wouldn't think about the legal questions. I would think about what you're going to do with the money.
In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
I hope you've been able to get out and enjoy the afternoon because it has been gorgeous out there compared to where we've been the last couple of days with a lot more moisture and the storms here from yesterday and Sunday. We take a live look with our Supply Corps camera brought to us by Window World. Mostly clear skies out there. A little bit of a breeze kicking in from the west and northwest, but our temperatures today made it into the upper 70s. We're at 79 degrees in Rockford, 76 in Freeport, same thing in Rochelle, 77 right now in Dixon. High pressure centered off to the west of us will gradually work closer to us us through the night tonight and into the day tomorrow, which means tomorrow more of the same. We're only going to add a few more degrees onto that temperature thanks to the wind kind of shifting a little more to the southwest later in the day. Mention the wind today. It has been breezy coming in from the northwest, sustained anywhere from 10 to 15, close to 20 miles per hour. But we have had some gusts 20 to 25 for today. Wind speeds will come down a little, but they don't go completely calm through the night tonight. So we still maintain a little bit of that breeze. This is the best part about today. Along with the sunshine, take a look at these dew point numbers in the 50s. So a much more dry air mass to be had out there compared to the 70s that we were at these last couple of days. And that's actually brought our relative humidity values down as well. So not only are we talking about the drier dew point numbers, but our relative humidity values were wringing out that moisture that we've had too. So a little more comfortable on both fronts. We're going to run futurecast straight through because high pressure pretty much the dominant weather feature across much of the Midwest, the Great Lakes. We may see a little more cloud cover kind of pop up tomorrow afternoon, just as we pull in a little more moisture there, and then a few more clouds on Thursday. There's a weak system that'll pass to the west and southwest of us. Not expecting any rainfall from that, but wouldn't be surprised if we see a little more cloud cover towards the latter half of the afternoon. Reason why we're going to stay fairly quiet, we've got a big ridge of high pressure out to the west. In fact, this is going to continue to bring a lot of heat out to the west, but it maintains our wind coming in from the northwest. So while our winds at the surface shift a little more to the south, we're not fully bringing in that moisture because the wind in our jet stream is still from the northwest. And we're also going to stay pretty quiet. Now, eventually we'll start to see some of that heat kind of spread a little further to the east, which will slowly bring those temperatures up. Looks like that trend something that could go into the beginning of September, as the longer range outlooks have a higher probability for those temperatures warming up. But for tonight, we'll see those numbers go down to 57 degrees underneath a mostly clear sky. Tomorrow we're up to 85, so a little warmer than where we were today. Pretty crisp morning. It's going to be a beautiful morning. In fact, those mornings you wake up, you're like, oh, it's nice and cool, and then the afternoon gets warm. Light breeze, just like today, could come in, I should say, at around 20 miles per hour. Might not be quite as strong as some of the gusts we had out there this afternoon. 85 degrees on Thursday, up to 86 on Friday. I know we've got a little thunderbolt there Friday. I think this is late Friday night. There's a cold front that comes in early Saturday and will stall to the south of us going into the weekend. Temperatures in the lower 80s. We'll stay in the 80s here through our Labor Day holiday, and then likely to see those numbers go up a little bit once we get towards the middle to end of next week.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
More available space, more helmets and pads, and more clarity. It's all in abundance now that NFL teams have slashed their rosters down to the 53 men that they aim to begin the season with. The cut-down deadline came this afternoon. The Bears waived or released 14 players. The most notable ones were guard Michael Schofield, quarterback Nathan Peterman, guard Latavius Simmons, cornerback Thomas Graham, and defensive lineman Mario Edwards. Some of the Packers' more notable cuts were quarterback Danny Etling, running back Tyler Goodson, receiver Juwan Winfrey, linebacker Caleb Jones, and former NIU defensive lineman Jack Heflin. Auburn graduate Vidarian Lowe has made the Vikings final roster. Lowe was the Vikings' 6th-round draft pick in April out of Illinois. He's currently listed 3rd on the Vikings' depth chart at left tackle. It'll be game on a week from Sunday for most NFL teams, including the Bears. The Bears had one of the worst offenses in the league last year, but Darnell Mooney believes the offense is in a better position going into this season with a new coaching staff and Justin Fields having a year under his belt. Mooney was encouraged by the strong first half showing last weekend against the Browns.
It was good to get that in a game, get that feeling, and like I said, instead of going against our guys and then going against them and just have a flow and then not understanding like, are we doing well, are we not, but it was good to get those things in there like, oh, we really can do this.
A healthy Robert Tonyan should boost the Packers' offense this season. He missed the second half of last season with a torn ACL. 2 years ago, Tonyan's 11 touchdown catches tied him with Travis Kelce for the most in the NFL by a tight end. Tonyan is just now getting back up to full speed.
It's overwhelming with the excitement. I'm coming back. I wake up in the morning, pep in my step, wanting to get here to practice now because I get to, do something I haven't done in a while. So it is nice and reassuring to be back out here.
The NFL season will kick off in style on Fox 39 a week from this Sunday. We'll have a doubleheader. Game 1 at noon will be the Bears hosting the 49ers. Game 2 after that will be the Packers against the Vikings.
Candace will have a final look at weather in just a moment, but first, here's a look at what's coming up on News Nation tonight.
Tonight on Dan Abrams Live on News Nation.
Applying for a job or opening a bank account, you'll need an ID for that. So why not at the polls too? An overwhelming majority of Americans are in support of voter ID laws. So why are Democrats acting as if voting without an ID is some inalienable right?
Now here's Ashley with a look at Banfield.
Thanks, Dan. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Why your Facebook friends may be robbing you blind. Plus, the Oscars roll out the red carpet for Chris Rock, asking him to host in 2023. Why Rock's answer invoked O.J. Simpson. That's tonight on Banfield.
That's coming up tonight on the fastest growing cable news network in America, News Nation. It's available on the cable and satellite stations you see here, or you can head to newsnation.com. Candace is back with another look at a really beautiful forecast.
I know, it's one of those days where you wish you kind of had a window in the studio, or at least, something you could open up to let some of that fresh air in, because the breeze felt nice today, kind of going through the windows, letting things air out a little bit from some of the humidity we've had from over the weekend. So this evening going to be very comfortable. We stay dry too. A lot of clear sky out there. The first warned interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. High pressure continues to stay with us here. 57 tonight, up to 85 for tomorrow, down to 59 tomorrow night. Back up to 85 on Thursday. A little more cloud cover. Most of Friday going to be dry. Just a small chance for showers. Our overall pattern looks to stay somewhat dry here going into the weekend. So a lot of dry time for the Labor Day holiday. Temperatures will stay in the 80s. You may see the numbers go up a little further towards the end of next week.
All right, thanks, Candace, and thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again at 6.